Well, the other day, I was at the airport, and I needed to text James and make sure he was awake, so he didn't miss the plane. And turns out he was on a different plane, different part of the airport. So I wrote, at the same time I was trying to remember a quote I had written, not a quote, but just a sentence I had written that has to do with circling back, touching base, and leaving word. And I couldn't remember that sentence. It was a sentence. And I said out loud, I wonder what that sentence is. So I wrote, James, are you awake? And then I put the phone down for a second to step up a step, brought the phone back to my face, and there was the sentence after, are you awake? It was written there. That shit happens all the time when you're around, when you work for David Lynch. I didn't type anything. I had no idea, even the first, I knew circle back was part of it, but that was it. It was all typed right there on my phone. Magic.
Yeah, it's like synchronicities. Like when Carl Jung talks about synchronicities or whatever, I find that when, like, Sherilyn and I flew up together to do the pilot, and it was like we sat next to each other. It was very funny just how the whole thing went. And then after Twin Peaks, all the synchronistic sort of stuff that would happen, you know, like somebody would say something, like, and you'd look up and that exact thing they just said was the title of something and it was written above them on a sign, you know, that kind of stuff. Strange things like that, like constantly, you know, so yeah, there's definitely a connection there. And I think that's what TM does. I think meditation is, I think the word yoga means to connect. And I think meditation, that's a connection. And I think that when you do that, you're opening yourself up to a certain vibration of some kind of love essence or something, and it just sort of, it really does connect things, you know? And yeah, and honestly, I think that's one of the reasons, besides how brilliant he is, that everybody just sort of has this familial thing going on, you know? It's really cool.
Yes.
This was probably covered yesterday, so I'm sorry if it's a repeat, but I wasn't here and I want to know. What were your reactions to your season 3 characters, to where your characters had grown into?
I didn't know what, I was looking at mine kind of going, mine felt like mist is the only thing it just felt like something like mist. That's the only thing I could think. It was very sort of ethereal feeling, because it wasn't written sort of rote or anything. It was just sort of, it was neat. I really liked it. It wasn't, to me, because when I wasn't about like amount or whatever to me, or wasn't about, oh, I've got all this screen time or not screen. It wasn't an ego thing at all. I was just like, oh wow, look at what he's doing. Okay, like he's doing this. Okay, got you. You know, it's kind of it's just a cool thing where you become more of, I felt like it was more of the character became more of a wind or a mist or something coming through rather than just a normal person kind of thing. That's what it felt like, so yeah.
Well, I was over at David Lynch's house and for something, and he was editing something that James was in, and we were both looking at it, and he shook his head and he looked at me and he goes, "Isn't he cool?" I was like, "Yep." I mean, James is just the coolest. And I went, "I know." And then he goes, "But he's always been the coolest." And he was like, "He's just so damn cool." And I went, "Yep." So it's a cool mist.
Oh gosh.
I remember I talked to Cheryl Lee, and I'm like, so what, you know, because of course we talk, because we're bad. And I said, so what'd you think? And she's just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I have no idea what I'm doing. I love David, I'm here, but I can't tell you I'm doing this or this or this. But again, it's not like, oh, I have no idea. You know, it's like, I'm with David and I'm not sure what I'm doing. You know, and that's okay. Mine, which I already shared, I had issues with the beginning, and what came back was really scary and wonderful and raw, and I think my only fear was that it was so different than who had been shown in the original series. I really thought people might hate her. I did, like, hate her. Somebody did a funny tweet. They're like, first I want to slap her, and then I want to hug her, and then I want to, you know, throw her out the window, and then I want to, and it made sense.
Okay, I have kind of a silly question for Harry. What do you think about Deputy Andy's name? Did it come from the Andy Griffith show? There was also one on Eureka. I just kind of wondered that.
Even from Toy Story.
Yeah.
Deputy Andy.
I don't know.
Insight?
I know David has a thing about names and places, and that's something he would be able to answer because it would mean something to him, but I don't know what his reference was.
Now I know what's been wrong with me all day.
Miss.
Yeah.
I was squeezing my head.
Feel better?
Feel better. Next!
So what's one thing that's always resonated with you, like a thought, idea, something that happened that you just always can think back to from your Twin Peaks days?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Well, it was prior to Twin Peaks. People know this. I went to go see Blue Velvet, and it was the first movie that had transported me in actual time when I saw the film. Since Suddenly Last Summer, the movie Suddenly Last Summer, and I remember I walked out of the theater, and there was a girl standing outside the theater, and her name was Maria Sentry, and her father was a very prominent and famous character actor way back in the 40s or 50s, and she saw me coming out of the theater, and she said, well, what did you think of Blue Velvet? And I was, of course, stunned. And she said, you know, and I told her what I thought of it. It was a long story, but she said, you know, I'm working at Dino De Laurentiis now, and there's a huge picture of you in the wall, and David Lynch is in there pitching One Saliva Bubble, the feature, and I never got over that. And then I met David a year later and was cast in Twin Peaks.
Wow.
Yes.
There's a picture of Lucy and Andy's family on Lucy's desk, and it's so ridiculous, and I was wondering, did anyone get to keep it, and is there any way we can get a print of that?
The thing about that is I walked in and that whole heater thing was the first thing I did. And then I remember I went, and I saw the picture, and the prop person was waiting for me to see it. So proud of it. And I went, what the fuck? And he said, that's the Brennan family. Oh my God, are you guys gonna do those as Christmas cards? And he said, he just did it, and I think that's just it. I don't know where it is.
So what are you going to do if that is Dick Tremaine's son in that picture and not mine?
What am I?
Apparently,
know.
Ian Buchanan's tweeting that it's really his.
Yes.
Speaking of sons, which one did you prefer, Little Nicky or Wally Brando?
Wally Brando. But little Nicky grew up to be quite handsome and very talented. The person.
Yeah.
Question specifically for James. in Fire Walk with Me, the scene where Laura leaps off the back of the bike and runs back into the forest, and then you take off on the bike. Your feet are out, your heels are dragging on the pavement. It was literally the most rock and roll moment ever. Tell me about the bike. Did you know how to ride before? What happened to the bike?
Well,
tell me about
that was probably one of the coolest shots, I thought, and I loved how it looked, you know, and the balls it took to just fly full bore around that corner, you know what I mean? Just wish it was me. Yeah, so.
They wouldn't let him do it anyway.
Yeah, but
He's like, yeah, but I couldn't.
yeah, no, not at that. They had me do everything with the riding. I did all the riding on the show and stuff, except for that one scene, because he had to go full bore around a corner like it. He wanted him to go as fast as he could, you know, and they just said, you can't do that, buddy. So
I'm not from Hollywood, so I can tell you the truth, and James really did do that.
Don't tell Wells Fargo.
Yeah. So, both as your characters and as yourselves, is there one thing that you would tell now your younger self?
Run. Oh my God, join a convent. Move to Bali.
You mean as what our
Like
characters
within,
or as us?
Within your character,
Oh,
like
okay.
as your older character, would
Oh,
you
okay.
tell your younger character something, and then also as yourself, would you now tell?
I'd be like, you better enjoy it, because it's going to get really bad. Hopefully you'll come out of it.
yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I wouldn't know what I'd tell my younger character. What do you say? Any advice or whatever, I wouldn't know, because I think it's all probably supposed to go the way it went, I guess, probably. You know, I don't know.
It's the Helen Mirren quote, right? What would you tell your younger self? To just say fuck it more. Say fuck it, just let it go. You know, all the worry and the angst and the this and the that.
Yeah, learn more brave.
Relax, yeah. Relax and enjoy. And don't have to have every hair perfect, and don't wear a condom. And just say yes.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to piggyback on that and ask a question. So I have no doubt that we'll get more Twin Peaks in some form at some point. However, if you were to have a wish for your character in this upcoming, no matter how frivolous it could be, what would your wish be for what might happen to your respective characters?
I want Audrey to go towards the light. I want her to not be a character that goes towards dark and all of that stuff. I want her to go towards God and the light, and to see angels, and to be maybe delivering messages that are coming to her to maybe help, especially Janelle Cooper. Yeah, I like her to be a character that retreated into something, because this was just too messed up and painful. And I think that is sad. But I just think I believe in light more than dark. And I believe Audrey always had a light, which is why I didn't know it when I did it, but that people cared for so long. I believe love and light is the most powerful, and there's something that's drawing them to that. Because it was never try to be sexy, try to be this, it was never any of that. It was just try to be really honest, and this young person exploring her power and who she was, and then, oh my God, she sees this guy and thinks she's in love with him. I used to do that. Like, so innocent or naive, you're like, oh, and if I'm with him, then everything will be okay, and she's a young girl.
I would wish that Lucy would get to wear tighter skirts.
Me too. No, but think about this. I would really like to see a lot of grandchildren.
I think basically James was probably nothing I should change. I think you guys said, I think he's, or asked it yesterday, or somebody did, about him being at peace. I think he's just at peace. I think something happened to him, and I think it just knocked it out of him, and he's just like, okay. And he's like, sort of in a way there already, but didn't really try to be. He just kind of got tossed there, I guess. So.
He got cooler.
Coolness.
And I think we got a little surprise.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to interrupt you guys. We all love Voodoo Donuts, right?
Yeah.
Well, they made a special, if you guys can see this, but they put
Holding it up in the air.
put their cast. Special for you. I know you're gonna like this. You've already had 2 Voodoo Donuts today. Isn't that great?
But wait, what is this?
That's
with
the voodoo
stick
guy.
through the- oh
Yeah,
my
that's
gosh,
why. He's
okay.
filled with like blood jelly or something like that.
That's
Yeah, I thought you guys would
amazing.
appreciate that.
Thank
So.
you. Yeah.
Well, I'll put it in the green room for you guys. But, yeah, that's what we do. But I just want, we all love our Voodoo Donuts here, and I know you guys have experienced it, so I wanted to interrupt and show you before someone destroyed them. So, all right, have fun, enjoy.
And actually, that's our time for today, but I think that's a good way to go out.
Table 2?
No, we're all in one big bank over there. You'll
Bank?
still
Oh,
see us.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Starting
Yeah,
now?
please come say hi.
Starting now?
Yes.
Thank you.